This is impromptu by me. I'm sorry about this afternoon. No, please, everyone be quiet. Let me just say, it's unacceptable. Today was unacceptable, but the season has been very acceptable.
The season has been very acceptable.
Yeah, that was unbelievable. I mean,
unbelievable.
If you would have asked me, I mean, I went back. It's funny. I was on YouTube today, and our episode from 3 or 4 weeks back, early February, late January, when Houston played Cincinnati, and we were recapping that game.
Yeah.
Right after Duke beat Carolina by like 20 in the Dean Dome. I mentioned in that podcast or that video podcast, however you watch us, that I was like, there's a 0% chance that we win that game in Durham. Now, Carolina was playing pretty bad, and Duke was obviously rolling. But, yeah, going into Saturday night, I was with some friends out watching the game, and I was like, hey, like, I said, they're either going to win outright or lose by 20. I was like, there's not even a chance it's a close game. If you're Coach K, a picture-perfect game would be exactly what happened, and then they come back and storm back and win by 4 or 5. But absolute craziness to spoil his night. I mean, there's no better feeling as a Carolina fan. This is the biggest win since the 2017 National Championship game for Carolina.
Absolutely. Well, I was working the Xavier Georgetown game, so finally we both got to have a good Saturday. But I was just kind of checking it periodically through the game just because Xavier's actually having a really fun game as well, and just kind of kept clicking on it and checking it here and there. And I saw they were down like a decent amount in the middle of the first half, and then I kind of was checked back here and there. I was texting you a little bit, and I turned it back real quick, and it was like they're up 4 with like a few minutes to go. And then all of a sudden I'm like, oh, okay, cool. And then I turned it on with like a minute and a half left. I think at that point Armando had a dunk or something to just like put it away. And it was like, oh, this is awesome. So like at this point, I'm not even paying attention to the game. I'm working. And I'm just watching this and I'm like cracking up because all you just see is like all those people just sitting there like with like just dead expression on their face, just like distraught, like unbelievable. And then I actually didn't see that video until the next day. Just because I was just kind of like working around. We had some family in town. And so when I saw that, it just made it even better. Not just because you, as my friend, are a big Tar Heel fan. It was just a blast to watch, like just kind of like fall apart like that.
Yeah.
Just
like I'm
terrific
smiling.
stuff.
I'm smiling thinking about like watching it in the game again. So yeah, we'll break down 2 things here. We're going to get to conference tournament stuff for you guys. I know it's conference tournament week, but yeah, the big story of the weekend, maybe the big story of the year was, Coach K announces in June. Roy Williams retires on April 1st. Coach K announces in June that this is his last year, that he's named John Shire the successor, and that this is his last year, last ride, whatever, right? And not everything is on Coach K for how big the media proportion got. Now, granted, he is bias everything. He is an egomaniac that he wanted all this, and don't let anybody, including the Duke basketball staff or any Duke fan, tell you that he didn't want this. He deserves it, right? He deserves his swan song. He deserves this and that. But ESPN looked at it as like a money grab. Coach K looked at it as like, yep, we're going to honor me. So we'll get to the pregame stuff here first. The week leading up, right? College game day absolutely should be in Durham, right? And it's in Durham when Carolina plays at Duke, and it's in Chapel Hill when Duke plays at Carolina. It's just unfortunately, they go to Rupp, they go to Kansas, they go to Carolina, they go to Duke. That's their 4 or 5 stops.
It is what it is.
Once college football season's over. So game day's at Cameron, right? Right outside K-ville. All the students camping out, right? Big environment, great environment. Former players are back. They're having people come up on the stage. It's great. I didn't watch too much of it because they talked about North Carolina for 2 seconds. So be it, right? Let them have their moment. It's all about Coach K. So before the game starts, right? I would love to know somebody walked up to Coach K, letting him know that, hey, like the game before yours, Kansas and Texas is going to overtime, so we're going to have to delay the start of the game. A, he probably freaked out about it. B, whatever. So then they go double.
God damn it, those stupid Chris Beard, you asshole.
2 screens on the double box, right? So they got all the former players come out, right? They're gonna celebrate Coach K. They're gonna make an archway. He's gonna walk out. I have no problem with that, right? You're gonna honor him. That's cool. It was cool to see who came back. Jay Will, Grant Hill, Christian Leitner, Steve Wojciechowski, a bunch of Dukes,
Yeah.
Grayson Allen, bunch of former
JJ.
players, right? Yeah, all the greats. A lot of the NBA guys didn't come back because of the NBA, former players, former coaches, a lot of them tied up, right? He comes out with like 11 minutes left. They take a big photo. They go back out. The game's about to start. I'm okay with everything so far, right? Like his speech, I thought they should have done the speech beforehand, but I think, and everybody else thought, there's no way they lose that game, right? So that's why they probably did it after the game.
Yeah.
The problem I have is the laugh out loud funny white zip ups that everybody's wearing with the Brotherhood, which, dude, I have spent hours and hours of my life laughing at the Brotherhood, A, and B, like, just making fun of how many, like, was Derek Thornton invited? Was Simi Ojeleye invited? Was Rasheed Thulaman invited? I could go on about all these transfers that leave the program. Were they invited? They probably weren't, right? So, they're all wearing the Brotherhood patch, and then everybody else, or Coach K is wearing the Brotherhood patch, right? And everybody else is wearing just a K logo. Remember, it's not about Coach K. It's about Duke basketball and the kids, but they're all wearing a K logo, just K. And then
Pretty
it
weird to have a
says,
bunch of white guys wearing Ks next to each other.
yeah, that's a tough look.
Probably not a good look.
On the
Yeah.
banner, on the media banner underneath the student section, one legacy defined by one letter. Okay, right? It all deserving. Yeah, pump out as much memorabilia, as much ads, whatever you want to call it. Do that. So the game tips, and you hit it right on the head. First half competitive. Carolina gets up early, 6-7 points. They're kind of riding a hot lead here. Armando Bacot picks up his second foul. Duke goes up 38-27. Paolo Banchero gets an and one. Looks over at North Carolina bench and says, "You ain't shit," pounding his chest, right? Like, crucial matter there. He gets outscored like 22-7 the rest of the game there. Paolo's having a great first half. Duke's up 9. Carolina comes down, hits a 3. Hits another 3. Long story short, they go into the half. RJ Davis hit the 3 right before half. They're down 2 at half, 41-39. And I'm feeling like, you know what? Like, we're in this game. We weathered the storm. When Duke got up 8 or 9 points, I'm kind of teetering and thinking like, oh man, like we're 1 turnover, 1-3 for Duke from this thing just blowing like out of proportion, and we can't compete here. So second half continues, and kind of like you said, it was just back and forth for the second half. Carolina would build up like a 4-point lead. Duke would fight back, cut it to 2, tie the ball game up. But there was something, the longer that Duke didn't extend the lead and the longer that Duke didn't take over, the later into the game, the more tight and the more like intense the atmosphere got, right? Like, and you could just tell Carolina goes on a little bit of a run, up 7 points with like 3 minutes left. And Jay Will, the best shot of the game, is they pan to all the student section or the behind the Duke bench, and it's all the former players. And Jay Will is just hammering for a timeout. Coach K doesn't call it, right? Duke makes a 3, cuts it to 4. All of a sudden, minute left. Carolina, like you said, Armando Bacot hits a dunk. And before you know it, with 35 seconds left, Carolina's up 12. And like the panning around Cameron Indoor Stadium, phenomenal. You had dorks, and I'll call them dorks for the rest of my life because I despise them, in Sesame Street outfits. The former players were looking around like, I can't believe this is happening. Chris Carrawell, John Shire, they have all these looks on their faces of, this went from them winning at Carolina to then, hey, there's no way they lose in Coach K's last game, being 2-0 going into the John Shire era, whereas North Carolina had some turmoil about being like, hey, are they going to be able to be elite under Hubert Davis? All that's wiped now. All the pressure is on John Shire now. Like, Duke, you lost on Coach K's last game. Forever, North Carolina fans have the one-up over Duke. Being like, yeah, Coach K is great. He's won 5. Roy Williams won 3 titles. Coach K won 5. But we beat you on his day. That was all about him. So it's funny because I know everybody hates Duke. If you're a Duke fan, believe me, everybody hates you. You know it. Everybody knows it. But just watching the national media just be on North Carolina's side when they ruined the party was phenomenal to see. You were texting me. It was, if we would have recorded a breaking edition or whatever we're going to call it pod that night, I wouldn't have been able to speak because I immediately was starting to drink as much alcohol as I could find. I was celebrating. So just kind of want to get your thoughts on it. Just the overall, like, I know it's been the lead story for SportsCenter, for college basketball podcasts leading into conference tournament. That's why college basketball is the best. Storylines, they just write themselves. So you think it's the biggest win since the 2017 title game?
Yeah, I would say so. I
Yeah.
think it makes a ton of sense. I mean, that's Hubert Davis's landmark win so far in his tenure. I joked on Twitter, I tweeted that he's going to get the Charlie Weiss extension. For those who don't know what I'm talking about there, Notre Dame beat number 10 Michigan in Charlie Weiss's first year, and then all of a sudden he got a 10-year contract extension. So I made the joke that was going to happen. Yeah, I think Armando Bacot really just helps him out a ton as far as his NBA draft stock. They're going to see how he played in the biggest game. And for Carolina, obviously, you and I were talking about it, and we thought it was ridiculous, but there were many people who, even though they came into that game winning 11 of 13, had them as a bubble team. And we were like, this season, the ACC, they're North Carolina. They have 20 wins. Like, no, they're in the tournament.
And I
So
and not to
that's
cut you
gone
off,
now.
I get that because they want it's Indiana, it's Michigan, it's Carolina. They want these teams to be on the bubble so they can throw them to Dayton and have a first four and have them like think about last year, Michigan State, UCLA in the first four. Like
Yeah.
they want the eyes on those games, right? And I think Carolina is that talking point where it stirs up conversations about the bubble, and so be it. If although we don't think that they're on the bubble, having them there, Joe Lenardi saying that they're on the bubble is a great talking point to get people to pay attention to your article. Not that I give him any time of the day. So,
Yeah, like when they like have that thing that comes out every year, like rating like the accuracy of bracketologists, he's always like middle of the pack, like very low, but people treat him like he's gospel, and it drives me crazy.
also, I'm not trying to be rude when I say this, but picking the bubble is always 6 to 8 teams, right? So you
Yeah,
get
it's always
30
like 37 teams on the bubble, and I'm like, that's not how that works.
right, but they always say, "Oh, Lenardi gets 60 of the 68 teams in the tournament." Well, 32 of them are given, and what they don't realize is that okay, South Dakota State is the number 1 seed in the Summit League tournament, right? He has them in as the automatic qualifier for the Summit League. If they lose, all he does is switch whoever beat them to that qualifier. It's not a hard process here. Like,
Yeah, he used to always do the thing too, where it'd be like when he would put his stuff up, like Xavier and Cincinnati are in the same region, Kentucky and Louisville are in the same region. I'm
that
like,
can't happen, dude. You're not
yeah,
gonna
you
do
just want
that.
talking points, like
Right. So,
yeah.
yeah, that's that. Carolina's firmly off the bubble. I text you as soon as they won, said bubble team my ass, just to deliver the point of how great of a win that was. Yeah, and I don't want to spend too much time on it. Everybody watched. It's a big win for me. I was obviously very excited. I could talk hours on it, but want to be kind of short and sweet to the point here. But let's get to the post game stuff. Here's my problem with Duke. Right, it's senior day. Theo John, Joey Baker, Bates Jones, which is Daniel Jones' little brother. I don't know if you knew that. He transferred from
Did not know
Davidson.
that.
Transferred from Davidson and played. He actually played a couple and like some games this year. Not not a lot, but he actually got in some big minutes and gave some good minutes there for him. But no senior day festivities. Now it's all likelihood. Theo Johns had his senior day at Marquette. Bates Jones had his senior day at Davidson. They both took their extra COVID year this year, and Joey Baker's probably coming back, right? So you can spin it in a way, being like, hey, like Joey, you'll get yours next year. Theo, blah blah blah. But still, not about Coach K. It's about the kids. But also, no senior day activities for any of the kids there. It's all about K that day. So then we get to the post game, which is like as a Carolina fan watching Hubert Davis hanging outside the locker room. Armando Bacot, Brady Manick coming running up to him. They're in tears or hugging him. It was cool to see because, like you said, a statement win for Hubert Davis. Finally got one. A lot of talking heads, including myself, were down on him. And I'll eat crow. Listen, that win, Charlie Weiss extension, however you want to call it, like he's earned some time for me, and he gave me a win that I'll never forget. But yeah, Coach K's hugging them. They're having a great time. They're celebrating. All 5 starters for North Carolina. 4 of the 5 scored 20-plus points. All 5 starters played every minute in the second half. Every minute. No substitution in the second half. He kept his guys out there at the media timeouts, used those to give guys a break. But those 5 forever cemented in Carolina history. When you think of R.J. Davis, Caleb Love, Armando Bacot, Brady Manick, and Leaky Black, if you see them out, you're going to say, or if you're a Carolina fan, if Carolina fans see them, they're going to always chop it up, say you beat Coach K in his last game. So, and this is the last thing we'll say on Coach K, and then they shift back. So it's a post-game ceremony. Carolina celebrating in the locker room, and Coach K comes out there, and they president, AD, they start giving speeches about him, giving gifts, all deservingly so, right? This is all planned. Probably should have been before the game, and watching the sad Duke fans stay there. Coach K comes up to the mic, says it's impromptu, that he's going to have something to say, and said he's sorry about today's effort, right? The clip that Tim started the pod with, he's sorry about today's effort, and his family starts saying no, and he, like Coach K, spazzes out, no, please, everybody be quiet, and tells everybody to be quiet and that it's unacceptable. So,
but the season was acceptable.
And right, your first time you win the ACC regular season since 2006, and like Ryan said, Coach K acting like a big ass baby. Take that L, right? That's forever. One letter defines his legacy, and the only thing I'll remember with is a big L. He lost his last game at Cameron. Yeah, Duke's still in a good spot. I'm not even going to be nice about Duke. They're going to play in the ACC tournament. They're probably going to win the ACC tournament. They're not going to win it all. This team can't win it all. I'll stamp it. March 7th at 6:06. I'm saying they're not going to win it all. They can't. Paolo Banchero balling out in the first half, 6 points in the second half. The plague that
That
has
was like a
plagued them
big
all
trend for him this year. He would like have these awesome first half, and the second half he'd be kind of mid.
because everybody else is trying to get theirs. Trevor Keels and Wendell Moore and I mean AJ Griffin had a great game at Chapel Hill, right? 21 points.
Yeah.
This game 5 points. Leaky Black shut him down. Phenomenal game from Carolina. Firmly punches our ticket to the tournament. Duke fans are salty. And then the last thing in the handshake line, I don't know if you saw that. Chris Carrawell blows off Hubert Davis. And listen, I'm not going to call the big stir about it. It's a douche move. Like, just shake the guy's hand, right? No, so it's funny. Chris Carrawell was mad that North Carolina did not honor Coach K.
I saw
before the
that
game in
article. I saw
Chapel
the
Hill,
article from Sports
which
Illustrated.
absolutely fuck off. Pardon my language, but I do not care about that. So we're not going to give him a 5-minute ceremony before the game in Chapel Hill because they're going to boo the shit out of him there. And I would have been in attendance doing the same. So Chris Carrawell's mad, but it's funny because he said that he was mad that Coach K and Hubert didn't shake hands before the game. They did. Hubert didn't walk over and shake the assistant coach's hands for Duke. Who cares? Who literally cares?
No one does
But
that.
anyway, after the game, Hubert and Kay shake hands. Kay's shaking hands with all the UNC players, talking to Armando Bacot, doing the right thing. No problem with that. Hubert goes up. John Shire and him they have a conversation. Chris Carrawell blows him off. Nolan Smith shakes his hand and looks the other way. You know what? I'm cool with it. Do you? But just a douche move. Just shake your hand and move on. Coach K is the king of the blow by. Shake your hand and walk right past. Remember when Godfrey beat him in Durham and smacked him on the ass? Kind of a funny moment. So that's where I'm at with Duke. It was a laugh out loud moment. When Duke loses in the tournament, I'm going to post the unacceptable video. Like, Coach K did not realize he just teed up a million striking points at him. So I'm excited, man. Best time of the year. You got anything to close the Duke Carolina chapter out?
Nope. Just that. It was fun to watch. I'm happy for you. I'm happy for my Carolina Tar Heel friend fans. And I don't think we could do Coach K any justice without asking, well, what's your major, son?
Yeah. And that's the thing, right? Like, I really don't want to spend time shitting on him. I do that in my own time, laughing at him. But the guy's got plenty of hit. Like, right. Coach K is Coach K. Egomaniac.
Yeah.
So.
Exactly. All right, man. Let's get to some conference tournament brackets. Let's kind of talk through them real quick. We'll start here in the ACC.
Okay.
So teams with a double bye: Duke, Miami, Notre Dame, North Carolina. Teams with a single bye: Florida State, Syracuse, Wake Forest, Virginia Tech, Virginia. So Tuesday, tomorrow, first games. 2:00, we got Pitt, Boston College, Clemson, NC State, and Louisville, Virginia Tech. Yeah. Tough. That's a terrible day of basketball. Not going to lie to you. Not excited about any of that.
It's funny because conference tournament week is supposed to be like, oh my God, it's Tuesday. There's wall-to-wall basketball from noon to midnight, right? Really, conference tournament week doesn't get going until Thursday because some of these opening round games and all these conferences are terrible. So,
they're butt. All right, so in this, sorry, got a little in my throat there real quick. So
like Coach K after the game, right?
That was acceptable though.
Looking at the ACC, right? Like, we're not going to spend time breaking down each game for you guys. We're going to probably give you 2 or 3 teams that can win it. If you're into betting, you can look at some of the futures for them. Maybe some dark horses. But I will, looking at the ACC, the top portion of the bracket where Duke is at is a lot stronger than the bottom portion. So Duke is looking at playing a winner of Florida State, Syracuse. Syracuse, they beat by 100 up in New York. I don't think they'll have a problem. No matter who they play in that first game, they're going to inflict some pain because Coach K had them pissed off after that game Saturday. So, but you're looking at a second round matchup of, with Wake Forest or Miami. 2 teams, Miami, who would beat them in Durham, and Wake Forest, a team that, has the ACC Player of the Year and Alondas Williams, who should not be that, but that's beside the point. But the top part of the bracket, Duke, Miami, Wake Forest, it's going to be Duke that comes out of it. The only other team I could see that could beat them would be Miami or Wake Forest, but wouldn't hold your breath there. The bottom part of the bracket, a Notre Dame, Virginia Tech matchup in the second round, and a Carolina, Virginia matchup if everything goes chalk. If it doesn't go chalk, then that means Notre Dame and North Carolina should walk to the semifinals just because of how bad the lower seeds are there. I would like to see Notre Dame and Carolina play again. It was a 2-point game in South Bend this year, and Nate Lewinsky went off for 3. I think he had like 8 threes. So I'd like to see Carolina get another stab at him. I think you're looking at a rematch, Carolina Duke or Notre Dame Duke in the title game. And if Duke could win by 100, I could not care less after what happened Saturday. So I'm going to say Duke wins it. Dark horse, Notre Dame or Carolina, but that's not even really a dark horse. I think Duke pretty much wraps it up.
Yeah, I have the same thoughts on it you do. So not a whole lot to dive into there. But
With question for you with seeding though, right now in Lenardi's latest bracketology, which we shit on him for how bad he is, but
happy to do it any day of the week.
Yeah, he has Carolina as an 8 seed. If they beat Virginia, beat Notre Dame, lose to Duke, do you think they're like a 7? If they win the ACC, do you think the highest they can get is like a 6? Because they pick up 2 quality 1 wins on their way there with Notre Dame and Duke. So
plus they entered the AP poll today.
Yeah, 25th.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, I could see them going to 6 potentially.
6.
Yeah, I
think they'd have
them
to
being
win
a 5 or higher.
I think they'd have to win it to be a 6. I think if they beat Notre Dame, I think they can move to the 7 line by just beating Notre Dame, but they'd have to have some of the 7 line seeds lose in their conference tournament pretty early. So that's where I'm at. I think Duke wins it. If not Duke, then whoever comes out of the bottom, Notre Dame or Carolina. I think Wake Forest or Miami. I think you're asking a lot of like Wake Forest Miami will be a stressful game on Friday or Thursday, and then the winner of that has to beat Duke. Then you're looking at like the 3rd game and 3rd day, like 3 really hard games. Whereas North Carolina and Notre Dame might be able to coast to the semifinals or the finals. So
yeah, I agree. Let's get to the American real quick. I think this is one of 2 teams that's going to win. It's going to be Houston or Memphis. The way Memphis has played well, they've just been of late. They've been awesome. I think we're past the point of they need to win the conference to get in the tournament. I think right now they're definitely in, barring they lose to, South Florida or UCF, which I don't see them losing either of those teams. I think Houston will run through. I mean, they're not going to be worried about playing Cincinnati on Friday. Cincinnati loses to East Carolina. They've got a lot more problems than we thought they did, and we already thought they have a lot of problems.
Yep. Tulane's I think Houston Tulane is a good semifinal matchup. I think Ron Hunter has done it. Ron Hunter's done it. Tulane has been really good. They kind of space you out and hit a lot of threes, but they're kind of my dark horse pick here. Unfortunately, this conference is a 2-bid league, and I think the 2 teams that are going to get bids are going to be playing for the bid. So I say Houston gets it done just because Houston beat Memphis Sunday, or Memphis beat Houston Sunday. I think Houston will get some revenge here in a week.
Yeah, I agree.
Houston, Memphis, or Tulane, and Tulane is being generous.
Yes, it is. Yeah, I'm the same thing. I really like that. I really like how Memphis is playing, though. I think they could really pull that one off. All right, Big East play. My beloved Xavier Musketeers start the tournament on Wednesday.
Must-win game.
Must-win game, yes. Right now, the bracket matrix has them at 62% in. But a loss to Butler might drop them quite a bit.
A loss would hurt because Michigan beat Ohio State, Carolina got to win, San Francisco got to win, Memphis got to win. Like there's a lot of teams that had to get wins last weekend got wins, but like you said, 62%. So just win that game and you should be in.
Yeah, you win that game and you lose to Providence, you might be in Dayton on Tuesday, which honestly I would kind of enjoy. But that's
Hope
not
that
the
happens
point.
for you.
Yeah. All right, man. So this is a fun one, obviously. Those first 3 seeds between Providence, Villanova, and UConn, like them all. I think they're all really good teams. I don't really trust many, the teams playing on the first day. I don't see a situation where St. John's walks or Georgetown repeats history by any means. I do like Seton Hall.
0-20 in the Big East and then turn around and win the tournament again.
They were probably the worst team I've seen all year, and I covered a lot of NKU games filling in for Parker. That tells you the teams that they played. Which, by the way, they played 9:30 tonight.
Yeah,
game against Purdue Fort Wayne.
Mm-hmm.
I think this is gonna be a fun conference. I like the way what Shaka was able to do at Marquette this year. I think it's I kind of think UConn's going to win the Big East tournament. I really like how they're playing.
Like we said about the ACC, it's flipped here. The top part of the bracket is kind of honestly easy, right? Not easy, but like you'll take it. If you're Xavier, you're much happier being the 8 than the 7. Although that's
you almost beat Providence twice. You literally tucked them to the wire 2 times.
You beat Butler. You can go to war with Providence, a team that is statistically the luckiest team in the country behind Wisconsin, or second luckiest team behind Wisconsin. And then you're getting either a Creighton team that lost their point guard Ryan Nimhart, or a Marquette team that has been kind of faltering down the stretch here. I'm with you. I do think the winner comes from the bottom. I would love to see a St. John's Villanova game in the Garden on Thursday at 7:00. I think that'd be great. Seton Hall is a scary 6 seed. I think they can give UConn some problems because they split this year. But my gut is just stick with it. I think whoever comes out of the bottom, I think Nova's going to win it. I think you're looking at Nova, Nova Providence or Nova Xavier. I think Xavier's my dark horse to win it. If Xavier can get up and beat Providence, I think they make it to the finals. I just unfortunately know how it goes when they play Villanova, and I'm going to stick with Nova in that one. So
I will say one thing: Nate Johnson's back,
he is.
and that was incredible to watch on Saturday.
He's lightened up. So yeah, I would go. If I was a betting man, Nova, UConn, Xavier. I don't think Providence can win it. But I'd love to see St. John's go on a run here. If there is a team that can make a run, it's crazy that seed it might be DePaul. They just have guys who can make shots, right? Like Javon Free and Liberty. Like they just got guys that can go off. Beach tournament, they might just go balls to the wall and try to score as much as they can. But I'm with you. I'm going pretty much chalk right now. I'm just gonna go Villanova for now.
I'm going Huskies.
Okay.
Dan Hurley's got to get something cooking with his poop socks.
Yeah.
All right, we got the Big Ten. Like a lot of these games, I think the team I still trust the most is Purdue. I know their defense has gotten terrible, but I really feel like I trust them because I know that like on any given night, Jaden Ivey can score 25, and I think that's going to be a big deciding factor. I like Illinois, I do, but they had some up and down performances down the stretch, and Rutgers. Rutgers has been really surprising for a lot of this season. It's going to be cool to see them play in the tournament. I got to think they're at this moment. But
I think so.
Yeah.
I'm looking at some
I'm taking
of these
Purdue.
second round matchups. Purdue? Okay. I'm looking at some of these second round matchups. You're looking at either Illinois, Michigan, Illinois, Indiana. Third round matchups would be Iowa, Rutgers, probably, and I think they're going to handle Northwestern and Nebraska. Ohio State is the 6th seed playing Penn State or Minnesota, then playing Purdue. I will be in attendance Saturday, the 12th, for the semifinal game. So, hoping for an Illinois, Iowa, Wisconsin, Purdue. I'm going with Wisconsin fans and a Purdue fan. So, for them, it was funny yesterday. Wisconsin was the 1 seed, Purdue was the 3. Wisconsin loses to Nebraska, Illinois wins, and all of a sudden we're looking at, hey, like it was supposed to be Wisconsin playing at 1 and Purdue playing at 3:30, and now it's they might play each other if they both get there, which would be very fun to be there in attendance. Snag some nice seats sitting like lower level in the corner for the Big Ten semifinals, so it should be really fun. Excited. I'm gonna go with Purdue. Exactly. I think Purdue's going to beat Wisconsin in the semis, and I think it's going to be Purdue and Rutgers in the finals.
Nice. I like it.
So, continuing on, Big 12.
Give me all the Rutgers.
What'd you say?
Give me all the Rutgers action.
Oh yeah, I need it. I love the way they play. Ron Harper Jr. is a stud.
He is a stud.
Excited for the Big Ten tournament. It's always the last game before the brackets come out, and it's always funny because they usually go to overtime. And you're like, Jesus Christ, just end this game so I can get the brackets out.
Yeah, give me the Selection Sunday.
Yeah. Look at the Big 12. 8-9 opening game of Kansas State and West Virginia. A fear for McNeil and the ears here, near and dear to our hearts here. Excited, man. I think a lot of good matchups here. Like you got Texas TCU in a grinded out game. I think Kansas is in the finals. But I'm going to go Kansas and Texas Tech. And I'm going to have Kansas winning it to give Bill Self another Big 12 championship. I like teams that I could think that can win it. Kansas, Baylor, Texas Tech. And that's pretty much it for me.
I think Kansas will win it. And I think they'll be playing Baylor. I think we're going to have the defending champs getting a little farther. I just kind of feel like it's just Kansas's conference to lose, obviously, with where they're standing. They've always been really impressive all year, so I really like them a lot. I still feel pretty high on them.
Yeah. Kind of like nobody's really talking about them. I think they're kind of sneaky good here. So
yeah, I agree.
Moving on here, a couple more to get to. Skip over all those. Let me see. Get to the SEC.
Should we go to the Pac-12 or the SEC?
Yeah, we'll go Pac-12 first. Sorry.
Okay.
Yeah, kind of a weird bracket here. You got your teams that have a single bye are Arizona, the 1 seed, UCLA, the 2 seed, USC, the 3 seed, Colorado Buffaloes, the 4 seed. I think only 3 teams are locked to get in as of right now, and those are the top 3 seeds. You're looking at a potential Arizona, Colorado, Arizona, Oregon if it goes chalk in the semis, and UCLA, USC in the semis as well. I'm gonna go UCLA, Arizona in the finals, and I'm actually gonna go to UCLA. I think they're actually gonna get it done.
I picked the Bruins.
Yep.
Keep that Final Four magic going.
I think it's one of those. Some conferences, obviously I know upsets can happen, but if you're asking me to give betting advice, or you're asking me to give you like who I honestly think can win the conference, I think with anything, conference tournaments are hard because right, like if you get on a roll and you get it rolling, you still have to like win 3 games in 3 days or 4 games in 4 days. And sometimes it just catches up to you with fatigue, right? Some of these teams aren't as
Right.
deep. Oregon's a team that everybody thought would be in the tournament, but they just played themselves with bad losses to California, bad losses to Washington. Just really not kind of putting the effort in that Dana Altman wants. If they got in the tournament, they probably make it to the Sweet 16, but they just can't for some reason figure it out this year. But I'm going to go UCLA over Arizona. The only other teams I think can win it all, obviously, are Arizona, UCLA, and USC.
Yeah, we didn't talk a whole lot about USC this year, and we probably should have a little bit more.
Against quad 1 wins, they have like 2 quad 1 wins this year. They're not very good, but
Yeah.
I'll be fading them hard in the tournament. That's something we'll touch on Selection Sunday. How about that?
Works for me.
Where they're at.
And the weirdest ass location in history of the SEC tournament this year in Tampa, Florida.
They had a gold mine in Nashville.
I know.
Mine. Go to
That's
Broadway
like the Final
Street.
Four. Just always be in Indianapolis. All right, who gives a shit?
Go to Broadway, drink as much as you want, go to Bridgestone Arena, watch the SEC tournament. Think about it. Broadway at 12 o'clock. First game of the day, 12 o'clock. If you don't want to go to Texas A&M, Florida, you want to go to LSU, Missouri, LSU, Ole Miss, which I don't know really why you would. Go get hammered on Broadway Street and then show up to the 2 o'clock game. But looking at the SEC, I'll let you break it down, kind of tell me what you like and your first thoughts looking at the bracket.
First thought, the bracket is I don't trust Auburn to win it. I would definitely not be surprised if Arkansas beats them. Look, I love Jabari Smith. I love Walker Kessler. I think they're a good team. But when their guards try to win games for them, we've seen that it does not work out. For some reason or another, when they play away from Auburn, from like their home court, they look really meh. So I don't really get blown away by them.
Like
I'm not very impressed.
2-point win at Missouri, a 2-point win at Georgia. They lost to Tennessee. They lost at Arkansas. Like the writing's on the wall there. Like they just struggle away from home.
I think the winner's either going to be I think Tennessee and Kentucky will play in the semis, and I think whoever wins that game will win the conference tournament. Calipari has been pretty open for years about not necessarily caring about winning the SEC championship. But I mean, if I have to pick a team between those 4, I think it's going to be an Arkansas Kentucky SEC championship, and I think I'm taking the Razorbacks.
I am picking the Kentucky Wildcats to defeat the Auburn Tigers in the championship game. I think they get their revenge. A healthy Ty, healthy Wheeler. I think they get their revenge. I'd take Tennessee. I like the way they're playing, but they're another team just like Auburn who has struggled away from home. So take that for what it's worth. Cats fans will travel, so it'll be a home game in Tampa for the Cats.
In Tampa.
I think
Tampa's like football, WrestleMania. Like
baseball,
that should be it.
Spring training baseball.
Yeah.
Not SEC basketball. Or one of your teams is in Florida.
Where are they playing down there?
Where the Lightning play.
Oh, okay. I forgot. I was like, there's no way they're playing like at the race at the Trop.
Yeah, that'd be funny. God, I'd take every under in that game. It'd be so hard to shoot in the dome.
Yeah.
So remember when they used to play in the Georgia Dome?
Mm-hmm.
So that's crazy.
I still remember when Kentucky and Michigan State played at Ford Field.
Yeah.
That was pretty cool.
Final Four, it's crazy. We spend all tournament, playing in NBA arenas, playing in college arenas, and then you get to the Final Four and they're like, we're going to make you shoot in a football stadium with a backdrop that's 500 feet long. It's like, what? So
yeah,
that's where I'm at. Looking at other conferences locally here, obviously Northern, the day you're listening to this, it will probably be the day before. Northern playing Indiana, Purdue, Fort Wayne. Is that correct?
Mm-hmm.
Tonight in the semis of the
That's
Horizon.
not a made-up school. That's a real school.
Yeah, one of those Horizon weird schools. They're 2-point favorites tonight. I think they can get it done. They'll play the winner of Wright State, Cleveland State tomorrow. If they win that, obviously they'll be their 3rd bid in 6 years, which would be a phenomenal accomplishment for where the basketball program has kind of been. I mean, it's crazy, right? The 4 years of being ineligible when I was in school, and then they just kind of hit a lift there once they joined the Horizon. Drew McDonald, John Brannon, Tyler Sharp, like really good foundation for that program to continue. And Darren Horn has done well after a rocky start this year. They really kind of snapped it back into place in conference play. So.
Yeah, Sam Vinson, really good at basketball. Really good.
Local kid, stayed home. It's a great story. I hope they do it just from being a Norse alumni. And also we covered the Norse, so it's very nice. Other than that, man, the craziness of conference tournament week will get you. If you're better.
Touch real quick on OVC.
Yeah.
The Morehead State, Murray State game ended up being a really awesome game. I didn't get to catch a whole lot of it. I was kind of paying attention by phone during the press conference at the Xavier Georgetown game.
Mm-hmm.
But it was kind of one of those like damned if you do, damned if you don't, because it's like if Morehead State were to have won it looks good because Xavier beat them. But also it makes them a 2-bid league and might take that spot away from them as the last 4 in. So that was kind of tricky. But
Janae Broom for Morehead State was phenomenal. Had like 34 points. Murray State's just a wagon, man. Like they're going to be a 7 or 8 seed that's going to cause some trouble in the second round.
They are this year's Loyola.
I hope we don't do the thing. Right, it's a great point.
And Loyola's in already.
Yeah,
but
I hope we don't do the thing where we overanalyze them and then they come out and lay an egg. Like remember last year with the 5-12 upset was Winthrop over Villanova, right? Everybody and their mother was like, "Oh my God, Winthrop's going to beat Villanova," and then Villanova beat them by 25, right? So, I think Murray's too good to let that happen. But I'd love to see them get a crack at a 1 seed or a 2 seed in the second round. So it was a great tournament. I love when they're the first bid punched. So it's great to see. Tonight we got the SoCon Championship, Chattanooga versus Furman. I'm a big Nuga fan. I think they're really good. Silvio D'Souza, John Baptiste, really Division I former Power 5 guards and big men that are playing at a lower level. Fun to see them succeeding. But it's the best week of the year, man. Once we get to Thursday and Friday, it's just wall-to-wall basketball all day. The games don't truly matter if your team's in the tournament. It's nice to get a win, nice to win something, but always in the back of your mind, you're just like, a loss heading into the tournament's fine. It's hard to win your 3 games in your conference tournament, then win 6 games to win it all. So, but I'm excited, man. Best time of the year. We'll be back with you later this week, kind of just wrapping up conference tournament week. Once Selection Sunday comes out, we'll probably just talk strictly about the brackets, don't you think? But
yeah, I don't. Nothing else really matters at that point. I don't care.
Won't care who won the Big Ten tournament right. I won't care who won the Big Ten tournament at 3:00, and when the brackets are out, I got one in my hand. So be sure to give us a follow for on Twitter. Happy to give out betting tips and stuff daily. The games we like. Love to interact with you guys there. But
unless you're Calvin Ridley.
Yeah, don't call me and tell me you're not. Oops. So that's all I got for now. But Tim, got anything else?
Nope. Ready to head out of here. Appreciate everything, guys. Actually, because this is like the second part of we had to do one of those 2-parters again. Had to talk about LeBron dropping 56 on the bench mob this week. So hope you guys enjoyed this longer episode. Take it easy.
Peace.